TIFU by chilling at my friend's place while she wasn't home. My friend Jenna moved into a nice, new condo last month and I finally got a chance to check it out for the first time today. I ended up arriving before she got home from work, so she told me to let myself in with a spare key under the potted plant and to make myself comfortable. I made myself a sandwich and was meandering around eating and checking out her swanky new place when the front door opened and a really large and unfamiliar man with a duffel bag came in. Dude was intimidating, and I'm a 4 minutes and 11 seconds woman, so I was immediately scared. He looked shocked to see me. I'm looking at his duffel bag and realizing that I surprised some piece of shit burglar. I panicked and threw my sandwich at his face and then locked myself in the bedroom. I'm shaking and he pounds on the door yelling at me to get the fuck out. I start screaming at him to get the fuck out and that I'm calling the police. Total bluff because I didn't have my phone. He then yells back that he is calling the police on me. This gives me pause. At this point, I look around and realize the bedroom I'm in definitely appears to be of the male persuasion. I ask him through the door if he knows Jenna, last name. He tells me yes, she is his next door neighbor. Well, apparently, Jenna's neighbor also keeps a spare key under a potted plant. So, today I fucked up by letting myself into my friend's neighbor's place, smacking him in the face with his own sandwich, and then screaming at him to get the fuck out of his house. TL, Doctor, today I fucked up by wasting a sandwich. This story gets better if you date each other. No pressure. AWW, you're such a cute couple. How did you meet? Well, it all started when she broke into my apartment and threw a sandwich at me. Bro, you're telling me you got home and a woman was waiting for you with a sandwich? I've dreamed of this. Yeah, but then she threw it at me, so it wasn't so cool. It's called express delivery and I for one would pay extra for that. How much extra? A whole 3 extra. How did he react after an explanation, and what kind of sandwich was it? He was actually really cool about it. I explained everything and apologized profusely and cleaned up the sandwich, pastrami on rye. After he had calmed down and realized I wasn't a crazy lady, he found it pretty funny and wasn't mad. We were outside in the area between their condos when Jenna came home. We told her the story and she was cracking up. I suggested they find better places for their spare keys, because that is apparently a really common spot and next time I might not be around to throw a sandwich at a burglar. They shouldn't find better spots for the spare keys, they should just use each other's plant pots, so the person trying to break in would have to know to use the other door. Brilliant. And set up a camera to catch confused burglars trying to use the wrong keys. And put it on Reddit for that sweet karma. But it on YouTube, and pay your mortgage, until some stupid copyright. But what if they don't get burglary here? Advertise. Free sandwich inside. Use the key under the potted plant. You have to use the reverse psychology and shit. This is honestly an incredible piece of advice. You could keep the spare key in the most obvious, easily accessible place ever, and no way a burglar is going to be smart enough to use it on the neighbor's door. Plot twist, the home builders bought the locks in a batch, and they're all keyed alike. I believe this has been known to happen. www.google.com web link. I was working on a construction project at the airport I used to work at, and we had just built 36 brand new hangars, so I decided to check them out. I soon realized each building of 12 hangars used one key. So 3 keys for 36 hangars. Not smart when you store 100k $10 aircraft in them. Contractor got fired, and they had to rekey every single one. I got an attaboy out of it. I start screaming at him to get the fuck out, and that I'm calling the police. He then yells back that he is calling the police on me. Honestly, this image is fucking hilarious. I'm calling the police if you don't leave. Him, no, I'm calling the police. Laughing to herself, you dumb bastard. I'm calling the police. Him. That is like the hardest link to tap on mobile. Then I must be a wizard, because I got it first try. My cousin did this. He went to visit my grandma who lived out in the country and never locked the doors. She wasn't home, so he let himself in and chilled in the lunchroom. He noticed some kids' toys, but knew our other cousin and her kid had been staying there, so thought nothing of it. While he was waiting, decided to call his dad and asked where grandma was. He said she was at home. My cousin explained, not she wasn't, because he was in her house and she wasn't here. His dad asked if he was at her new place. Cousin had no idea what he was talking about. Turns out my grandma had moved recently, and a new family with kids moved into her old place, the place my cousin had just let himself into. He booked it out of there quick smart, and we never found out if the new owners realized someone had been in their house while they were out. I hate to think what would happen if they'd come home while he was there. When I was in college, I went to a friend's apartment to hang out with him and another friend. We met outside, and the idea came up to drop coffee creamer off of his third-story balcony and light it from the ground floor as it was in the air. He was going to light it, so he gave the coffee creamer to his buddy and told him to go up to the balcony. He goes out and comes out onto the balcony. On the second floor. Apparently the people that live right below him left their door unlocked, and he walked by 2 bedrooms and a bathroom without anybody noticing, while also not noticing the change in decor himself. Wait, you guys were trying to do what? Light coffee creamer in midair? Yes, similar to this. I was picturing them pouring milk and trying to light that on fire. Never heard of powdered cream before. When there's no incest in a TIFU post. Finally, some good fucking content. Wait for it. There is still time for the guy to be Op's long lost half brother. Moving over to relationship_advice for part 2 on this after they bang. Spare keys under potted plants has to be the most generic thing ever. It's like ripped out of a cheesy movie. I'd think that taping a key underneath a leaf might work. Then again, I don't know how a burglar thinks, so. How fucking strong are your leaves? They're really strong. You just need to have some belief. Invite him over for a beer or 2 and a movie. Apologize for the sandwich. She will have a good neighbor forever. A little loud one night, whatever. First make sure that he isn't your long lost half brother. What city do you live in where people know their new building neighbors and remember their names? Well, some people aren't into social redditors like us and like to introduce themselves to their neighbors when they move in. Oh yeah, right, what do they do? Go, "Hi, I'm Jim, nice to meet you. Give me a break. I like to cook. You and your wife should come over for dinner sometime." I don't know what kind of utopia you're living in, pal. Reminds me of one of my first parties I went to. Never been to the guy's house, and he said, when you get there, go into the house with the Jaguar. Got there and the Jaguar was parked between 2 houses and I saw some dude walk through the side gate. I put 2 and 2 together and figured that was the house. But by now you can tell the relevance of this story. I entered the backyard and met with a few people by the pool, had a couple of conversations with them, and some guy comes out the house and approaches me with, "Who the fuck are you?" I stumbled my words, but managed to say, "Is this S party?" And he replied, "Get the fuck out." And so I happily did. This totally reminds me of a party my boss threw one night a few years back. I texted one of my coworkers instructions to the house and he ended up at a neighbor's get-together, mourning a dead relative. Him being the really quiet Japanese guy, he was sat there for about an hour before he realized he didn't know a single person there. Then he texted me what happened and said he was just going to go home.